The time has finally come. You asked for it, and now you're gonna get it. The full, in-depth Omni-Man guide. So I really just want to go over Shujinko, because frankly, Shujinko has, like, the most complicated stuff going on for him. And quite frankly, there's already a really good video out there for Omni-Man Movado by Dark Knight. If you don't know who he is, he's also an Omni-Man player that is really good. But also, I just want to go over Shujinko because I feel like this is the most comfortable team for me that I can talk about without sounding like an ass. I know this team, I feel confident with this team, and I want to talk about it, pass down all my knowledge to you, young Mortal Kombat players, maybe even some experienced ones too. Maybe you can learn something, because I'm just here to teach, and this is what this video is for. So let's just get right into it. Alright, basic combos, no move stealing. If you've seen any of my videos, you already know these combos probably by heart by now, because I do them so much, and I can do them so easily. So, basic punish, 1-2 or 2-2, even standing 3 if you're feeling brave. You can just do it's like a normal optimal until you get to this point. Crumple stun, jump. 4-4-5 damage for a basic 1-2 punish mid-screen. You can do that anywhere. Alright, one thing I want to talk about though in the corner. If you're the one that's cornered and you land that combo, you're gonna have to be weary that you cannot get a forward jump. You have to jump straight up and do a 1-2. That's gonna take some practice to land that, I'm not gonna lie. It takes a little bit of timing practice to land that straight jump into 1-2. But do it a few times in practice and you'll probably get it out easy. Alright, what about his other two openers? His 4-4-1 and his 4-3. Well, that's easy, honestly. When it comes to his 4-3, it kind of just stands one, but you see here. Alright, what I did there, right? So I did a jump in, so you can't do any like bounce with this. I do 2-2 and a crumple stun. You're able to get that into a normal. That's going to be pretty much your ender for most combos. Exceptions will come later on in the video. But basically, when you get a crumple stun, and you don't have a cameo steal that'll extend it further, you just go in for the jump 1-2 dash 1-2 grab. Now, I did say you can't get a bounce after that. You can. However, if you want to get a Shujinko crumple stun afterwards, it's going to the optimal version of these combos we'll talk about later. But right now, we're going to talk about the simple ones, including this 4-4-1. Check it out. 1-2 grab. 4-4 and a crumple stun, and then do your ender. And the thing is about this one, in order to get that time, you have to do the really quick forward dash right before this 4-4 in the crumple stun. So if you see, like, right as I'm kind of doing the grab, right as I did it, I did a really quick forward dash into 4-4. That's all you need to practice in practice mode before you try it out in actual games. And what about his back 1-1? Alright, well, there's two versions of this you can do. One is still a lot of damage, but it's a lot easier, and then the other one is the more optimal version, which I guess we'll go over both of them at the same time. We'll get to the 4-4-1 and 4-3 optimals afterwards, because those ones are actually really difficult to do. It's going to start out normal. Back 1-1, get the bounce, 4-3, into crumple stun. They just dash forward to get a grab, and then just a normal ender at this point. And that's just 4-4-6. That's really good. However, there's a slightly better version of it. It's kind of tough to pull off, but if you practice it enough, I'm sure you can get it. It's going to look really similar at first. Do the grab. Alright, here we go. That's the tough part. You get like 10 more damage for it. However, that forward dash to forward 4, you gotta do it really quick. Like, I'm talking like as soon as you can, kind of quick. Now that we got those out of the way, let's talk about the other optimals for the 4-4-1 and the 4-3, because those ones are a lot tougher to pull off than that one. I'm definitely not gonna get this first try, so I'm just gonna try and record it real quick, and then I'll kind of explain what happened there. So what just happened? So basically, this 4-3-1 is an absolute pain in the ass to get, and I will probably never land it in games, because that happens like 90% of the time. But if you're an absolute genius at this timing thing and you're just a god at it, by all means, practice it a little bit and then get consistent at it. Because I, for the love of God, cannot get consistent at that at all. However, this forward 4-1 into bounce is actually relatively not that bad to get. It's optimal. However, I will actually say the hardest part, once you get down like this part, that forward 3 and the crumple stun can actually be a little tricky at a time. But it does a lot of damage for a forward 4-1. Like, it is good. It's pretty good. What you're doing also after that is you're doing a little quick forward dash into stand 1 bounce. So you just have to practice after that punch, right as you recover. You want to get that like forward dash into 1. It's like a micro forward dash too. So like, see, like you get like that little movement into a 1. That's pretty much what you're doing after Shujinko hits. And then that forward 3 timing can be really tricky as well. If I can try and get it. I got it. I'm getting better at it, but it does take time to get used to it until you can actually get semi-consistent at it. Alright, corner combos. I like corner combos. There's a few ways to open them up in the corner. That forward 3, you can get a hit. Forward 4-1, you can get a hit. And then also forward 2 at a distance, you can get a hit. Although if you're in the corner, you do a forward 2, then that'll happen. That sucks. However, if you're cornered, check it out. I think most of you probably already knew that, but I decided to explain it anyway. And then back 1-1 is also a way you can get a corner combo as well, which back 1-1, yeah, mid-screen you get more damage for it because you can't get a bounce in the corner. Most on-demand probably know that, but yeah, you just can't do that. It sucks, but oh well. We try and make it work. Okay, so a basic corner combo, forward 3 and forward 2 are pretty much the same. Except forward 2 has better damage scaling than forward 3, but just because forward 2 does more damage, we are going to do that one instead, because that one's cooler and does more damage. But forward 3 does the exact same combo. Alright, so how do you do like a cool corner combo with this team? You do forward 2, you get a 1-2 afterwards. You might think 2-2 does do more damage than 1-2, but what you want from the 1-2 string is that extra hit into the crumple stun, because you can't do that with 2-2. 2-2 does not have enough recovery for getting another hit afterwards, and it also doesn't bounce him up higher. So you can do standing 2 in the crumple stun, or if you're good at timing, you can do standing 3 in the crumple stun. Standing 3 does a lot more damage than a standing 2, but standing 2 is a lot easier and it's faster to get, and it's way more consistent than standing 3 because sometimes you don't always land that 1-2 like as quick. So if you want consistency over damage, I would go for the standing 2. But if you really want that damage, then try and get that timing down because it sometimes can drop pretty easily. So what do you do after that? Well, you do a jump 1-2 in the stance 1, and then basic ender. And that's 44% for a forward 2 in the corner. That's pretty cool. How much does a forward 3 get? Well, it's slightly less. Yeah, 40, not even 42. So it is a lot less, but if you land it, you get a decent amount of damage for it. Alright, let's talk about the forward 4-1. The forward 4-1 is... It's the same, but it's also different. So you do not have enough, like, time to get the standing 3 in there. I've tried it. You just can't get that. So in order to do it, you just kind of have to do a standing 2 into it as well. In order to actually do the combo. This does the least amount of damage out of the 3. So it barely cuts 44. However, there is a different version of this that you can do with Shujinko that does give you a lot more damage. It's a lot harder to land, but it is cool. Check it out. But yeah, it does take some practice to try and get. You can also, to make it easier on yourself, you can do like a 1-2 instead. It does less damage, but you can do it. You can also, optimally, you can actually do a standing 3. It's a lot harder to land, but I'm having a hard time getting it. You can land it, and it does do slightly more damage. So if you're trying to go for the most optimal, you can try and go for that. I'd say 2-2 is a good middle ground of consistency and damage. That standing 3 can drop way too often if you're trying to win matches and not drop combos. So I would go for the 2-2 personally. I'm getting better at doing that, but when it comes to move stealing, corner combos do get pretty cool, so we're going to get to that soon here, actually. But before we get into the move stealing, let's talk about the back 1-1. The most cool way you can do back 1-1 in the corner. There's a few ways you can do this. You can do back 1-1, and 1 air 1-2, standing 3 crumple stun, and then do kind of your basic corner. Doing that air 1-2 in the stance 1 in the corner is now going to be a basic corner extension. That's a pretty easy way to do that. There is a slightly better way of doing it. It's a little trickier to time, but bear with me here because it does do a decent amount of damage. Okay, yes, so that. It's kind of going off of, like, this combo. Where, like, that used to be, like, the most optimal way to get, like, a back 1-1 in the corner. But instead of doing a 1-2, you do a standing 3 and a crumple stun. And you just get, like, this hit and this hit in one combo. Which those two are pretty, you know, big hits if you know about optimals for Omni-Man. And I think that'll do it for basic corner combos without a move steal. I think we're finally ready to move on to move steal. So let's go back to the mid-screen. So we're finally moving on to move stealing, and I picked Johnny because Johnny is pretty basic. Like, Johnny is probably the most basic move steal you can probably get, because his down back cameo is just kind of a normal pop-up. Now, what I'm actually doing, if you saw the Shujinko video, you kind of know that forward cameo is a way you want to go for move stealing when you're trying to combo into them. So, like, a normal 1-2 into forward cameo, and then do whatever. You can either do, like, his down forward cameo, which is whatever that is, his kick, or you can do forward and the down back cameo, which is that. And the things you want to do with this, there's a lot of things you can do. There's optimal versions and the non-optimal versions, both of which do an absurd amount of damage for no bar. But let's talk about the simple ones first, because those ones are a lot easier to land. Okay, so really simple. Johnny also pushes them really far away, so trying to get a standing 3 into it can sometimes be tricky. I've kind of defaulted to doing forward 4 into it, because not only forward 4 is a little longer of distance, it also pops them up a little more. So in case you, even if you do it a little late, it'll still kind of give you a lot of leeway in getting that stance 1 right afterwards. I didn't even do a forward dash, it still reached over there. And then you're gonna do a forward 4 and a crumple stun, and then your basic ender after the crumple stun. You still get 45%, which normally you kind of get, like, depending on scaling of which kind of characters you fight against, it's going to do more damage than the normal 1-2 optimal, or it's going to do less damage than the normal 1-2 optimal. And we'll get to the ones that do less damage later, but Johnny's does slightly more. It's kind of worth it, but it's also, like, meh. There's a lot of other ways you can actually use the move stealing instead of just doing, like, a 1-2 punish into it. You can also use forward 4-1 into it as well, so something like... You can, in fact, do that. So if you don't normally go for, like, the optimal version of this, then you can easily just go for, like, one of these. That actually does work in the corner, so if you're in the corner, you can actually get, like, a hit. And you can get slightly more damage off of it. And you can do the same thing with forward 3, but forward 3 only... It doesn't actually only work in the corner, it does work mid-screen as well. The same thing with forward 3. Get your little crumble stun, get your little ender. And you got 44% for forward 3 in the corner. That, you know, it's pretty cool. But yeah, both of those, I'm pretty... Yeah, but if you're not in the corner, then you kind of want to just do, like... normally into it instead of doing a forward cameo into it, because a forward cameo hit actually does 60 damage on its own. So does the back one. Like, you do back cameo, it's a mid, does 60, forward cameo is a high, does 60. Those hits do a lot of damage. So kind of missing out on that mid-screen does kind of suck. Some move steals, which we'll talk about later, you can do like a hit into it. But for some cameos like Johnny, you can't. You just kind of have to work with just doing it raw like that without a hit. You might also ask, what's the difference between doing forward cameo into a hit, between back cameo into a hit? Well, there is actually, if you noticed, forward cameo leaves them a little closer to you than back cameo. It pushes them a lot further away. For some things, it's actually kind of worth doing that. For the most part, it's also just because they can duck the high, but they can't duck the mid, so if you think they're gonna duck at some point, then you might want to go for the mid instead, so you can possibly get that. And since you get your forward 4, it really isn't going to matter because you can still land a forward dash to a forward 4 and get that. Now, what we're talking about is still really basic to like most move steals that Shujinko can do. Is basically just like a normal pop-up that he does, or like a restand, which we'll get to later. But he also does have an alternate. If you can always check cameo moves. He does steal a different move here, throwing shade, and what this does, he steals the shade move, which if you actually saw how much damage that did 90 damage by itself, which you can't actually combo into it. It does not combo, but you can use it for things like pressure, because if you have this man block, you're actually, I mean, it doesn't say that you're plus, but yeah, once it hits, you're pretty much like golden. It's just like a pressure tool pretty much. So, and if they do get hit by it, then you do actually just get a full combo for it. And you can just, like, hit him afterwards. You kind of have to be a little quick with it. So if they do get hit by it, they're taking 53% damage. But then they could just block it. But if they block it, then it's still your turn, and you still got pressure. So you still got a lot of damage without a move steal. Don't worry. Alright, let's talk a little bit about using Shujinko for pressure. Now, he does have his down forward cameos, which for Johnny, he actually just has his kick, which does go full screen, and it's really quick. So if they're like doing stuff full screen, you could just do that always, and it's completely safe full screen. However, on block up close, it's actually still safe. It's -7, and a lot of players do not know that his move stealing is unsafe. So a lot of the time, they're actually most likely gonna try and punish with like a high or something. If you go like forward 4-1, back cameo. I use back cameo after forward 4-1 because it's a mid, and they're not gonna be able to actually like duck it like the forward cameo can. But if you do this into it, you can always just like do a duck afterwards because it's safe, and they're most likely gonna try and punish it with like a standing 1 or something, and those are always highs. I think you can always just try and get a micro duck into like a 1-2, and then get a full combo off that. So sometimes using Shujinko for pressure is kind of ideal. Just knowing like the frame data, because actually some move steals are even like plus on block, stuff like that. He does have another move steal you can do, which is Ball Buster, which is actually extremely unsafe, so be careful about that one. But yeah, going into practice mode, testing out every, like, a bunch of stuff, frame data, stuff like that, it also can also be very useful, because if you know that a move steal is safe, but the enemy doesn't know that, then that's actually an advantage to you, because they're going to try and punish it with, like, a high move or something, and then you're going to be ducking, and then you can just micro-duck them. At worst, they'll hit Shujinko, but by the time you are able to, like, use Shujinko again for the forward 3 and a crumple stun, he's already back. Like, he's not gone for that long. Alright, I think that's gonna do it for Johnny, though. Let's move on. Alright, so the second type of move steal is restanding, and for Omni-Man, it's really good. Like, honestly, restand cameos are really good, except for one, which we'll get to later. Spoiler alert, it's Sub-Zero. But every other restand person you actually steal from, really good for Omni-Man, because you get so much damage off of it. Basically, you're gonna do, like... He's still blocking. Basically, you're just gonna do a restand, into standing 3, stance 1, and then do like a normal just combo at this point. Crumble Stone and then basic under. That was a 1-2 punish that I just did, and I got 53% for that. Then again, Omni-Man is also the best restand damage scaling you can get. I think you got Quan Chi as well. Is just about as much damage, slightly less, not that much more. You're getting 50% every restander, like, pretty much. It's insane. That's pretty much it for restanders. Like, you just kind of do, like, a standing 3 into your basic, like, just combo at that point. However, I also picked Homelander for a very specific reason, because something I found out very recently is how good this actually is, because if you hold I'm holding RP right now, and he moves with me, and he's there for a long time. I think it was like 12 seconds. before he actually went away. Now, if you block, he goes away, so while you are in this stance, you can't actually... You can't actually, like, block, or else he'll go away. So you kind of just have to have, just annoying pressure at this point, and have him just stand over them, waiting, you know, to be used. Because as soon as you get a hit, you're able to actually hit them for that. And honestly, this can be really annoying for a Homelander, because if you do something like this into a mid into it, then you can, like, try and do, like, a 1-2 and, like, an unsafe move. If he tries to punish it, you can just let go, and then you're completely safe on it. Which, using it as kind of like a safety cameo, but, like, if they do try and punish it and they get a hit, or if you think that they're not gonna, like, do something like that, if you think they're not gonna punish it, then you can just keep going. And just keep going until you think they're not gonna block, and then just release him. And then if they get hit, you can get a stand 3 after that. So something really cool for Homelander. Like, it's not that hard to just hold RB as well. And just kind of, like, do your normal combos. You can do whatever you want. Because that little Shujinko sitting up there just waiting, it can be really intimidating to the other Homelander. And it's kind of funny, honestly. Alright, so I have him blocking the high right now. He's going to block overheads, but he's not going to block lows. So what I'm going to do, something cool you can do if you do mix-ups. So pretty much you can do a forward 3 or a forward 2 and get this. I'm going to show off both, but forward 3 first. You get a solid 38% for that, or if you wanted to block low, I did 41%, so forward 2 is actually a little better. But I mean, if you want to mix them up, and if they do block it, you see that they block it, just don't release it, and then you can just do another mix up again. Or you can release it thinking that they're going to be punished. It's all a mind game. Homelander's Move Steal is actually really a lot stronger than I originally thought, than I just found out recently. So hopefully, if you play another character with Shujinko, even, this is a really good Move Steal. So go ahead and use it as you wish. I wanted to talk about Move Steal corner combos. Alright, Move Steal corner combos are going to be relatively similar to like the normal corner combos we talked about, especially like the back 1-1 where you kind of did this. This is basically going to be how you're going to move steal. And I chose PeaceMaker because PeaceMaker, fun fact about PeaceMaker move stealing, he has 3 different moves, one of which is probably the best scaling move steal you will get. PeaceMaker, they just gave Shujinko's move steal against PeaceMaker the best one. They gave PeaceMaker it. I don't know why, but they did. And it's his hold up, down back, hold up. You can also just do this for that. It doesn't have as good as scaling, and then holding down is just his torpedo. So it's kind of only works against full screen. It's pretty unsafe up close, so don't accidentally do that. But yeah, a normal corner combo, air 1-2, standing 3 crumple stud, air 1-2 stance 1, and then a basic ender. And again, this is PeaceMaker, so PeaceMaker already has ludicrous, like, just damage scaling for some reason. I don't know why, don't ask me, ask NetherRealm. But that's basically the best you can do in the corner with a move steal. At least with a move steal pop-up, I should clarify. Move steal that actually pops them up, because if it doesn't pop them up like a restander, then you kind of just go for a standing 3 into your normal combo. Now, with all that out of the way, it's time to talk about the real optimal combos you can do. And I chose PeaceMaker because I just want to see some big numbers, because his damage scaling is ludicrous. But the optimals with the move stealing combos can be extremely tough to pull off. Because if you know anything about Omni-Man optimals, some of them are really hard to time. And this is no exception. So if you know anything about like the true optimals for Omni-Man, you know what it stands for? You can get one of these for it. You can get a stance 4 into like... Or you can get a standing 4 into a back forward 4 after that, if you wait long enough. Just like that right timing. And you can do the same thing for pretty much any pop-up. I'm not going to get that first try, but you can do it. It is very hard to do. And I'm going to show off what it looks like and how much damage it does against a PeaceMaker. Give me a second to get this. That didn't actually take as long as I thought. But you can do that with pretty much any pop-up move steal that anyone will have. It just takes a little bit of timing and practice to do. Granted, I've never really do these in games and real matches because I'm gonna drop them a lot. I actually made a video dedicated to trying them in like casual matches, and I dropped about like 80% of them. I was actually surprised I landed as much as I did in that video. So again, if you're like a timing god and you can do this consistently, then by all means do it. I would love to see that. I say that like not in a mean way, to be honest. I want to talk about Conan now. So Conan's move steal is, his move steals are going to be pretty unique because he steals two specific moves, one of which is down back. It's going to be a normal pop-up. However, if I just do a normal combo with this, you might notice that the damage is lacking. That was not that much damage. It just wasn't. And I'm not sure as to why, but his damage scaling on this move, you can also steal that in case, you're about to die. But his damage scaling on this move is really bad. Like, it's really bad. So the best way I found to use this is whenever they're on, like, a crumple stun, like, on a combo, like, when you're about to do a crumple stun to, like, jump 1-2, like an ender, you can just do a cameo hit into that and then get the ender like this. And that actually does do a decent amount of damage. And then do this instead. You actually get 45% for it, which is slightly better, but it's still not, like, fantastic. What I've actually found the most useful for Conan move steals is his down forward up one. Which we do down forward normally, it's just kind of a sword spin. Which, fun fact, is actually -7 on block. So it's actually safe to spam that if you really want to chip him out as well. Okay, but his other move steal, down forward up, that move, it's not doing anything right now, but that's because they're not in the air. And Omni-Man has two moves that puts him in the air. One of which is forward 3. And also his forward 4-1. Now, forward 4-1's a little different because you actually have to do forward cameo into it. And then you can get a move off of it, which actually does a decent amount of damage. Like, I was surprised. Check that out. 45% for a forward 4-1. That's really good. Forward 4-3. Now, forward 3, you can do the exact same thing. And get a pretty good amount of damage for this as well. For just a forward 3. I mean, that's... Come on, you can't argue with that. So that down, forward, up move steal is actually really good, especially with Omni-Man. Because two of his moves actually put him in the air like that. His forward 4-1 or his forward 3. You just gotta be careful not to do this. Otherwise, we'll just kind of knock him down. Kitana specifically. Okay, so Kitana's move steal, right? That's kind of just a normal, like, fan lift. And you can get a hit after that. However, I will say, the damage scaling on this kind of sucks a lot. Like, a lot. I'm gonna do a normal combo. And it's gonna do less than 4-4-5. I'm telling you right now. It's not great to use this as, like, a normal kind of combo extension. Even in the corner, it doesn't do that much damage. If you use it like a normal corner, like a normal pop-up like you normally would with other people. However, there is something cool you can do with it in the corner. And the reason I'm at default right now is because I'm going to show off the forward 2 corner combo. Because with corner combos is kind of where you're going to get most of your damage with this. Basically, once they're in the crumple stun position, you do like an air 1-2 and a grab. However, when they're in crumple stun, you just do a forward 3 into a move steal after that. It didn't work there because gravity, but if we do the full combo, it actually does work. Dagger 1-2, and you get the grab, and it works. It just works. That did 47%. That is kind of like the best way you can use Kitana's move steal is just for corner combos. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. And I've tried to do like the basic like combos like this, but then ending it in a fan, see if I can get an air extension after that. It doesn't work. Like, it pushes them too far away. However, if you did put them in the corner at that point, then you can actually use that. You can actually do forward 3 at that point. So, hold on, let me see if I can show that off real quick. Let's say you hit him and you're cornered, then you're putting him in the corner. Oh, now you're getting 47% for that. So yeah, that move steal works in the corner. After a crumple stun, after a lot of gravity has already been used up. So that's kind of the way you want to use Kitana's move steal. Otherwise, you're kind of just like... Otherwise, you're just kind of like using it for zoning and stuff like that. You can use it to like chip around or things like that. Alright, Noob Saibot. Noob Saibot's a crazy one, alright? Noob Saibot, you steal a few pretty good stuff with this. And this is kind of the first one I'm showing off that actually has a low move steal. Which is actually extremely valuable with Shujinko because he has this back cameo up, which is an overhead, but it also starts off with a mid, meaning they cannot duck it. Meaning you actually now have access to a mix-up on hit as well. The only way they can get out of it is the armor through it. Pretty much, if they're blocking, you can do forward 1, which is my kind of favorite way to like ensure that I'm going to get a hit, and then back cameo, but then you have an option to do back cameo up, which is an overhead, which is safe on block, or you can do this, which is a low, which is +5 on block. So against a Noob Saibot, you have no reason not to use this mix-up. It's pretty good. Knowing that what move steals are low, like you can steal like a low move steal from someone, you can always use that mix-up to just kind of do a little bit of damage. Like, don't be afraid to use your Shujinko. Like, charging him up is so easy. And like, as long as you know, like this, like just doing this alone gives you like 1/4 of it, and then uncharge it right there, and then you kind of have some of your charge there. So knowing how to charge, if you do watch some of my videos, you'll see me like charge him like in between combos, just because I've gotten decent at just like muscle memory of the combos. But then also just charging Shujinko while I'm not using them at the same time. Like having Shujinko up all the time is kind of really important because you can use Shujinko for so many different things and his move stealing. But another thing I want to talk about with Noob Saibot is his move steals are actually really good. Normally, he's going to get access to this portal, which you do actually have to aim, by the way. So I'm holding back, so it's close. But if I were to hold, like, forward, it's really far away now. If I were to just not hold it at all, it's right there, at the end right over there. And what's good about this, actually, is also on block. If you want to do this on block, it's also +14 after hit. So if they do get hit by it, you have a massive advantage afterwards to just keep hitting them. Because they might think that, you know, it's their turn and they're going to try and hit you after that, but no, you have plenty of frames to do that. If you want to try and go for a macro duck because they're going to go for high, go for it. Or if you think they're going to try and duck because you're going to do a high, do a mid or a forward 4. There's a lot of things you can do after this because you have all the frame advantage. I will say, though, his other one, teleport, is very unsafe. That one you kind of don't want to throw out as much. And the thing about his teleport is it actually works pretty much, like, you can do that at any point. If you do a forward 4-1, get a conversion off that, because a lot of hits or a lot of like combo starters kind of don't work. Like you can do like their pop-up after forward 4-1, like doing a hit into it kind of didn't work. You saw that it didn't work with like the last person I tried that with. I think it was Johnny that we just did that with. It didn't really work with Johnny, but it did work. But it does work with Noob when you do a hit into it. Otherwise, you kind of just have to do a raw one. It doesn't do as much. But Noob Saibot is one of those characters that you can actually do this like anywhere on screen, corner or not corner. And same thing with the forward 3. You can also do it with the forward 3. Get a hit, get your combo, get a little crumple stun, and then get your render. But there's one more thing about this teleport that's actually really good. And the thing is, you could do like one of these. It gives you a good amount of damage. I think it does get you over 445. Yeah, 4-6. That's really good. However, something that after the crumple stun, you can actually get a teleport after a crumple stun and get an air move afterwards. And then an air jump in. So with that in mind, you can actually do your full combo and then just do this. That 474, that is pretty sick. And there's a few other characters that are able to do this kind of thing. Conan was one of them I just shown off. Noob Saibot's another, and I'll show off a few more when we get to them. Alright, so Mei. Mei has a move steal that is a little more unique. It might not look unique at first, It kind of just looks like a normal pop-up that you can get like a hit into, and you're not wrong. You can do just a normal combo after this. Get your little crumble stun, the air stun. That actually does a really good amount of damage. Like, Mei's move steal does do a lot of damage. However, there was something unique about it. You might notice that it used up a lot of gravity. It actually uses up. It uses up about 2 hits of gravity before you can actually hit them before. So for some characters, this is actually pretty bad. For Omni-Man, it kind of doesn't matter because you just kind of get a standing 3 into it or forward 4 into it. You kind of do that whenever you want to. If you're trying to go for like that optimal kind of like standing 4 into bounce, it's not really going to be able to work because it uses 2 hits of gravity, so you're not able to get a bounce after that. That's what I would say if I wasn't me and I didn't lab the shit out of this, because it's actually very possible to get a bounce with it. But you kind of have to do a little bit of shenaniganery, not really that much shenanigans, but you do have to do a quick backdash into standing 3 to actually get it. It's not too terrible to do. It's actually kind of easy, to be honest. And it does like 50%. It's actually really good. The timing on it isn't, like, the most consistent. However, if you do try... I might even drop it here. Yeah, I dropped it. But, I mean, if you do get decent at it, I'm, like, halfway decent at it. However, I just dropped it twice in a row. Not a very good look for me. But it's, like, 50% if you land it. It's a lot of damage. 47% if you don't want to do this. Still, 47% compared to 50. I mean, come on. You're still getting like half their life bar just gone in one combo. But that's something I want to talk about with Mei. There's one more corner thing I actually want to talk about. Let's get to that right quick. So we're in a corner. Mei has a down forward move steal that is this, which normally you're not able to combo off of. Like, you can't really get any hits after that. However, if they're already in the air, it bounces them up a lot higher, so something like forward 4-1 into it. You can, in fact, get a combo off of this. It is, yep, there it is. I think you can also get a 2-2. It's pretty hard to land. However, if you do land, I think a 2-2 is kind of the easiest you can land. That's a decent amount of damage. You can get almost 42% just off of that, off of a freaking half of a cameo steal in the corner. However, 4-3, you kind of have to do like a only one button hit because it only works after 435. God damn. It only works after 4-3 in a hit, because if you do it raw like that, you're not gonna be able to get a hit afterwards. There's not enough like air time in the air. So I think standing 2 is actually a little better. I think I did standing 1 before. There's a few other cameos. There's a few other move steal you can actually do that are similar to this, which we'll get to those later, but those are just a few things I want to show off with Mei. Alright, so Liu Kang is another one of those characters that just has really bad move stealing, like damage scaling. Like, you can do something like this, or something like this, and you would get pretty much it's just not that much damage. Like, it does do less damage than a normal combo would. However, he does have, what I just did was back cameo up, which launches them a little bit. If you normal back cameo, it does this dragon, which actually has the same amount of damage scaling with it. However, this dragon is, it doesn't pop him up that high, and it drops him pretty fast. This is really the only cameo steal that you can, it's the most consistent. It's not like guaranteed, but if you get a quick forward dash afterwards, you can get a bounce with the standing 3 and get a pretty large combo for it. 47%, which is, I mean, it's still scaled pretty bad for most other damage, for most other pop-ups that would have done like 50, but Liu Kang's kind of sucks, but that's kind of the most I can really get with Liu Kang. Like, even during a crumple stun, this thing doesn't really launch like too much. Even with a basic crumple stun, I wasn't even able to get like an air drug. Okay, I kind of am. But you definitely, I've tested it a lot. You can't get that like after a more like gravity heavy crumple stun. It's pretty tough to try and land a combo with Liu Kang. That's really the best I can come with Liu Kang, because even the corner damage kind of also sucks with it. You're kind of getting the most value off of the mix-ups because you actually get a low as well. So you can do this low after his mid. So you can do like mid low, or you can do mid overhead. That's kind of the most value I've come with Liu Kang. Is a little bit of a mix-up every now and again, get a little like damage in there. Alright, Raiden. Raiden is actually a really good move steal. I'm not gonna lie. It's really good because his down back normal one hits low. Which, if you already know, he already has this overhead. So doing something like this mid, if you scare them with the overhead a lot by, you know, actually landing the overhead on them a lot, they're gonna try and block low. And then you can just go for one of these. And then just get a free combo with that. This is actually, the damage on this isn't terrible. Just a raw one of these already does, you know, 46%. And it's also good just to, like, put out, like, every now and again. Like, you can also do 2 into it. Because the next move would normally be an overhead. Or you can even do overhead into the low. And they might just not see that coming. So there's a lot of ways to use this one, because this is one of the few, like, low, insta-low, like, combo starters that Shujinko could steal. So if you're fighting a Raiden and you're using Shujinko, throw this out every now and again. It's also completely safe. Like, it is very, very safe. Like, if you land this, it's -2. Like, they might think it's unsafe, and they might do a high, and then you just get a little micro duck in there. You just duck their high and then just get a hit. Or they might not even see it coming, and they might just get a hit right away afterwards. It's a really good move. It's really good to steal from. Like, doing a forward 3 into it also works for me all the time on Raidens. Like, I do a forward 3, they block it, and then I just do like this, and then they get hit by it. It's crazy how much that works. Pretty much the best thing about Raiden you can steal from. Otherwise, you just kind of steal this projectile, you can charge it, it does a good amount of chip damage if they get hit. Or you just do a raw one. Most of the down forward Shujinko steals are kind of just projectiles. Which is good for Omni-Man because it doesn't really have any good projectiles. Although, I would say be careful with it on block though, because it is -12, so maybe don't throw that out up close all the time. Alright, GhostFace. If you want to talk about cheap setups, GhostFace probably has one of the cheapest setup moves ever. And also, one of the only throw combos that I'm able to get with, one of the only two... There's 2 throw combos you can actually get with Shujinko. With 2 specific steals. One of them is GhostFace. And let me talk about GhostFace move steal real quick. So normally, if you do his down back, you kind of just... He's still blocking. Normally, if you do like a 1-2, down back, you just get a basic restand, and you get like your restand combo. And it's all great. It's all fun. Does a really good amount of damage. Look at that, 49%. That is really good. However, he has a few other things. If you hold down during it, he'll actually do that. And it's not only a restand, it's a low... And it also restands them. The scaling on it isn't as good as his normal one. But I mean, it's still a low, and you can kind of control when it goes off. I'm letting go, and it goes off. I can hold it, and he just kind of runs at him. And I'm able to hit during this. So I was able to do an overhead and a low right there. Like you can get a hard to block setup with that. And get a decent amount of damage. Granted, it didn't do more than like a basic combo, but that was, keep in mind, that was a hard to block. Like, that was a hard to block into setup. And what's awesome about this is if you go in a crumple stun instead of going for an ender, you can just go for that. And what I actually just did there was a down forward down. His normal down forward is a projectile that you can actually hold. And you can even cancel it. It costs a bar, but you can actually do... You can actually do like a cancel it. And then you can get an extension if you're quick enough. I'm not that quick at it. I don't do it that much, but it costs a bar, and I don't think it's worth it, because frankly, you can also just, you know, do this if you want to restand. But frankly, I don't ever do this because, I mean, unless you really want a projectile, I don't think it's that worth it, because you can do his down, forward, down, and get a restand, because after a couple stun, you can just restand. And it's also a low. However, it knocks down instead of actually, like, keeping them there, like the down back down does. But we can do with this, right? Is you can do 2-2, and it knocks them down, but you can do a 2-2 stands 1 right after that, and it actually does land. And I got a hit. Let's see if I can show that off a little better. Yep, just like that. So it's another hard to block. The timing on getting that is a little tough. So trying to do like one of these, right? Like normal combos. But then instead of doing your ender, you can do that, and you can just do a setup. And that only costs half the cameo meter, so you can just do it again. It's pretty strong. Like, if I just landed that, that would have probably killed him right there. Like, that would have done all of his health in like, pretty much just one combo for one full bar Shujinko. If you want to make it easier on yourself, you can do the down back version. And then it hits them for the low, and you can just do that instead. I like doing the other one because you can use two of them, like, back to back at the end of each combo, and it's pretty dumb. Like, it's pretty strong. So if you also play a character that has, like, a quick overhead like that, into this setup is disgusting. I will say, I've actually fought a few GhostFaces that knew how to avoid this somehow. All they have to do is jump. If they jump, then it's kind of, I mean, you can still block it or even jump them back if you know they're going to jump. But either way, it's a nasty setup for if you move steal from a GhostFace. Really strong, especially with Omni with his standing 2-2 because of that overhead he's got. Okay, back to what I was talking about earlier though, throw combo. I will say the throw combo is only in the corner. You can only get this in the corner, but if you land like this kind of restand, right? This that hits low, it'll hit him low. However, do a throw into it, and you now have a throw combo. And you have to do a forward throw as well. Otherwise, the back throw will not work. Like getting a 23% throw combo with Omni-Man in the corner, kinda sick. The other thing about this, if you get the throw combo, like you can charge him, right? And then by the time this bounce is done, he'll be fully charged, and then you can go for another setup. And then if you also, he was blocking, so if you got hit by one of those overhead or lows that just happened, that are hard to block, that he would have taken another full combo, so that can be led into another setup right there. So a throw combo into another hard to block is already pretty good. So yeah, consider using that more when you play against a GhostFace with Shujinko. It's really strong. Anyway, that's about it for your GhostFace though. Okay, Scorpion. So Scorpion obviously steals the Spear, which is just a basic kind of combo extension you can do. But honestly, that's not really, like, there's one cool combo I kind of want to show off here, and I mean, it is pretty cool. Like, if he's maybe charging still, and he just finished charging right now, you can do this. Little micro forward. And it does the exact same amount of damage as if you just landed one of these. So it's actually a lot more work for the same amount of damage, but let's just say, like, Shujinko's, like, halfway charged right now. And then you send him out, and then by the time this happens, he's already done charging, and then you can go ahead and land that combo. And it does, if you're able to perform it consistently, it is pretty awesome. Not the first thing I want to show off for Scorpion, but his other moves are actually really good. Like his other move steals, like this, and also this. Like I have 9 hit advantage after that, and it's if they get hit by it. But on block, it's also plus on block. So doing something like this, you're +2 on block. You can pretty much do whatever you want. I usually like to go for a micro duck because honestly, they always try and think that's like punishable, and then I get like a free like micro duck hit after that. But even his main like down back one, if you just throw that out, it's also -3, which they would also probably think is unsafe. And then you can even if it is -3 on block, you can still get a micro duck if they do a high. So like you can just throw this out, see if they do a high punish, and then you can just go in for a combo right after that. I will say, for his other move, like this, it is unsafe. It's only -9, which it's still unsafe, so don't throw it out that much. But, I mean, if you want to chip him out, it still does a decent amount of chip damage. Like, look at all that chip damage you just did. So if they're, like, about to die, that's how you would chip them out. Alright, a few other kind of things you can do with at least this spear. Similar to the other way I just showed you how you can use it, you can do it pretty much at any combo. Do one of these, just standing 3, and then just give, like, a forward 4. Crumple stun, and then you get almost 42% for that. And the same thing actually goes for corner combos. You can, in fact, do one of these. You do have to wait, like, a little bit. I just dropped it because Shujinko wasn't back yet, but I'm just gonna do forward 3 for now. You can do this, and if you really want to be safe about it, you can do 2-2 into it instead of standing 3, because sometimes when you do standing 3, Shujinko, you know, hasn't recovered yet. And that's a lot of damage for that. That is a lot of damage. Yeah, getting the spear, you kind of have to time your forward 3 just right to get it. Otherwise, you'll do it too early. And then he won't actually be, like, recovered back. I seem to not be able to fail it again, but I did fail it before, you just saw. So be a little bit careful about that. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for Scorpion. Let's move on. Alright, Sub-Zero. So, there's a few things. For one, his move steals are going to be kind of like... His down back down is going to be his best scaling one. His down back is kind of just an ice ball, so sometimes just throwing out a random ice ball will be beneficial if it lands. If it lands, you get a full combo. I will say though, the scaling on both of these moves, this one being the best scaling one, they both kind of suck. We all know that the normal combo does 4, 5 damage. I remember that. But if we just do like a normal combo, the stand 3, it does less damage. Like the scaling on it is just that bad. Yeah, 4, 3, 7. It's slightly less damage. It did like 8 less damage, but it's not worth it if you can just get more damage by doing that. So how do you use Sub-Zero then? Well, you have this. You have his low. And then you also have this. And you can do this from full screen as well. But a full screen, you kind of just want to mainly throw out like these. Because then you're kind of able to get like some combos from it. If it hits. But if you're up close, I'd say, honestly, the best way to use it is this low. Because, again, you have this overhead. His mid overhead can now be a mid low. So when you're playing against the Sub-Zero, it kind of helps to, like, use this mix-up a lot when you're up close in his face. Because otherwise, you're not really using Shujinko all that much. I will say, though, this is kind of just, like, general Omni-Man Shujinko pressure. If they're blocking, right? A lot of the time they block, like, this string. But this string, a lot of people usually try to press a button after that. Like, they either try and poke, or they try and, like, do a string. I'd say just cancel it into back cameo, which is his mid, so they can't duck it, because if you do forward 1, they could duck it into a poke, which is really annoying. So if you do this, they might get hit by that mid. Like, that happens all the time to me, where I do a forward 1, the back cameo, and then I get a combo off of something like that. So if they stop blocking after the 4-4-1, that actually does now become a combo if I decide to commit to it and do that. This might just throw out block too, so it's not like they're going to punish that. So that's another way you can kind of use this cameo, smooth seal, is by doing that. So throwing that out like every now and again, like kind of don't like use this too much, because you kind of want them to like press a button when you want them to, because then you can get something like this, and then you can get like a standing 3 and a stance 1. Do what you gotta do. Or if you're gonna block it, you can do a low, or you can just do the overhead instead. And then they're gonna get hit by your mix-ups. So that's kind of the best way I found. I mean, the other part was just kind of general Shujinko pressure. But if you know you have like a safe combo starter move like this, it doesn't hurt to just throw it out every now and again, because you can charge Shujinko like with one throw. Like you just throw back and then you send Shujinko out, and he's charged by the end of the throw. But that kind of covers Sub-Zero. Not too much about him other than his mix-ups and a little bit of basic Shujinko pressure for you. Alright, moving on to Cyrax. So, Cyrax, you can do some fun stuff with. For one, she has two different down back move steals. One of which is just this bomb. She's still blocking, goddammit. One of which is just these bombs. And you can just kind of sit there, do whatever you want. Do a basic combo at that point. However, what you can really do is after this crumple stun, her down back up, you can get an extension there with that. And that didn't use enough gravity for me to do that, but you get my point. You can get an air after that, no matter how much gravity has already been used. And there are a few different ways you can use this. One in the corner, we'll talk about in a second. A couple ways you can use this. You start off with your normal combo. Into this. And that already does 47%, which is kind of awesome. I will say, if you do manage to land one of these, the damage scaling on it is pretty bad, but if you land it from like full screen or something, you can actually start charging Shujinko like as soon as you're dashing in. And then by the time this is done, he's already fully charged again, you can get it again. Now it does a lot of less damage, but if you land that from like full screen or something, then yeah, totally worth it. Just like charge him right now, do it, and then you got a 42%er right there. There's a couple of really cool ways to use in the corner as well. It's pretty similar to Kitana, except slightly different, and we'll talk about that in a second. We just do a normal forward 3 combo, forward 3 corner combo. Yeah, instead of getting that air 1-2, you're kind of just doing a stance 1 as soon as you see that, like, Shujinko kind of comes down. It still does a lot of damage, so it's definitely good, like, corner variety with Cyrax. I definitely love going for that. It also just looks really cool, so it does a good amount of damage. So go for it. There's one more thing I want to talk about with Cyrax, and that is her bomb steals. Now, of course, if you manage to land one, then you can just do like a normal combo after it. It's pretty simple. You can just use this pressure cameo too, so like you do something unsafe like this, and they're gonna try and punish it, and then you have the bomb to keep it safe. And you can do it on block too, so if you do it, if they like do one of these, and you also have to aim it, because if you do it normally, it's gonna throw far. You can hold forward, it's gonna throw far. Because what else you can do with these bombs, right? If you do it like on block, then you do a forward throw combo. Now granted, it's not gonna be a ton, like GhostFace, but I mean, you're still getting, what, 22%? Yes, so Cyrax and GhostFace are the only two that I have found that you can actually get throw combos with Shujinko, which is kind of awesome. And that will pretty much do it for Cyrax. Let's move on. Speaking of throw combos, Reiko. So there's one other thing he does steal, and it is going to be a parry that's down, back, up. Granted, I don't think I've ever used that or landed that against a Reiko, but I mean, if you really want to try and be flashy and combo-y, you can go for that. However, his normal down, back cameo is a throw, and you can in fact get combos from it. Standing 3 in the stance 1, forward 4 cripple stun. Oh yeah, we got those. We got those 40% throw combos with this character. It's insane. Now, I will say there's only 2 buttons that don't actually work with the throw. Like, you can't do this into it. I mean, forward cameo on block into it and back cameo on block into it do not work, so you can't actually do like a mix-up like this. However, you can also do, you can do 2-2 into it, you can do 2 into it, you can do 1-2 into it, you can do back 1 into it. You can pretty much do any button you want. There's only a few that you cannot do it with, though. 3 specific buttons. One of them is standing 3. There's no reason to really go for standing 3, though, and do it. Forward 3 also doesn't work, which I'm not gonna lie is really upsetting, because that would have been extremely busted. And then standing 4 is also one you cannot do it in. Those are the only 3 buttons that you cannot, like, combo into this throw on block. Of course, they can duck it, if, you know. Doing it 1-2 into it is already kind of good, though, because you're already +3 on it. And 4-4-1's also really good, especially if you mix them with like that mid that you do a lot of, and they're gonna expect the mid, but nope, you're gonna do a throw instead, and then you're gonna take 40% of their life. And not much else to talk about with Reiko, to be honest. He just normally steals like one of those that doesn't even go full screen, and then he steals a projectile, which, I mean, it's nice if you need that, but frankly, I would just kind of go for this. It's too good not to go for. But that'll pretty much do it for Reiko. Throw combos, you got it. Alright, we're moving on to Ermac, which, personally, I think Ermac is the coolest one to steal from. I don't think he's the best. We're going to get to that last. But Ermac is still a really good one to steal from, and he's super fun. Because, frankly, he steals one of these, and let me get him to stop blocking real quick. He steals one of these, and if you see... Look at that. Shujinko's holding him up. There's a shadow Shujinko, and honestly, that just makes me happy. It just makes me very happy to see Shujinko like that. Anyway, moving on to actual combos, though. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with this, one of which is charging Shujinko in the middle of these combos. He steals this as well. This is going to be his down, back, up, which is his ground back, which is also a low. You might think it's a decent, like, it can work as a mix-up if they're really bad at reacting, because once they see this, they're probably going to, you know, block low. And I haven't really gotten that to land too often against Ermacs, because they normally are able to react to it. But it is technically a mix-up. It's just a really bad mix-up. But basically, what you're able to do with this, right? Because he's there for so long, you hold him out right now, charge, and then you're still able, and then by the time you get the bounce, he's already fully charged again. Right? Check this out, and then you can just do this. And you can send him out to charge again. and then you get 46%, and he's already fully charged by the end of the combo. I normally have him on full in practice mode, but let me just like take him off full real quick, just show off what it actually like looks like. Okay. 49%. What did I do differently? You're going to get a ton of damage for this, for basically free, a 1-2 punish. You're just able to do that. Like, it is just very possible. You just gotta time the Shujinko pretty good on that charge up. And you're able to just get this. And look at him, he's gonna charge him up again. You can get 49%. My god, that is good. That is really good. He has a few other things you can steal. He has this charge up that, if you charge up for long enough, is actually a crumple stun, but normally it's kind of just a knockback. I've never landed this in a game, but if you are able to land it, you can get one of these. It's pretty good. What's weird about it, though, is you actually can't get, like, another crumple stun right afterwards, because for some reason this counts as a crumple stun. So, yeah, it is what it is. One more thing you can do with Ermac, and it's about the same amount of damage, but it does look a lot cooler, but it is a lot harder. So, let's see what that looks like real quick. Slightly more damage. Not that much more, though. It does like 2 more damage. I don't think it's that worth it. It's a lot more effort for pretty much the same amount of damage. However, if you're trying to show swag and you're getting really good at the timing, it is pretty similar to just a normal back 1-1 and then like the bounce startup. However, the startup with it is kind of more difficult. You have to like walk forward a little bit and then wait. You have to like wait just a little bit. It's a lot easier to drop. It's pretty easy to drop. So I wouldn't go for it personally in the game. But if you get good at it, and you like it, then go for it all you want. But that's pretty much all I got with Ermac. Definitely still my favorite to steal from. I just really love the combos you can do with Ermac, like double move steal combos. Always really fun. Okay, so we're here with Kenshi. And Kenshi, normally, you know, most of the time, you want to do a move steal, like, pop-up. You do his down back up. It just is, like, up so, like it's just a basic pop-up, pretty much. You can just get whatever combo you need from that. However, if you do his normal down back, he pulls out Sento. And you pretty much just get access to Sento. And that can be really strong, actually. If you know how to use Sento. I barely know how to use Sento. I only know how to use them because of this. And there's a few cool combos you can actually do with a move steal from Sento. So if you like have crumple stun or something, and then you want to do it, you can just do it like as they're falling down, and then you just have a full Sento kind of like setup going on here. Pretty much you just hold block and then you're able to like hit him with whatever buttons you want to. That's kind of how you use Sento if you don't know how to use him already. He has 4 different attacks. Obviously there's 4 buttons. 4 is his knockdown. 3 is his pop-up. 1 is his jab. 2 is like a 2-hitter. 1 and 2 are like his jabs pretty much. You can pretty much have pop-ups for things like 1-2-2 or 1-2-2 or 2-2-2. And then you can do like an air combo or whatever you want, but there is actually one pretty cool combo I kind of wanted to show off for Kenshi, so I'm just going to show that off real quick. But yeah, a set corner combo. I don't think I'm ever going to land that in the game. I don't know if anyone ever will. It's cool that you can like pressure with Sento anyway. Like it's just once you kind of understand how it works, you can kind of like combo with him a little bit and maybe just as soon as you get a stance 1 though, he does go away. So at that point, you just kind of get like a normal combo and you kind of go about your day. Pretty much like all there is to Sento. There's not too much else. I mean, he steals just like one of these charging moves if you want to apply some far away pressure. But that'll do it for Kenshi. It's Geras time. I'm ready for Geras. I hope you're ready for Geras, because Geras probably has one of like, I'd say the second best move steal in the game, aside from the next person we're going to talk about. But this move steal is really good. He has this time stop. It just stops him in time for a little bit. Now, if you don't play Geras, I don't blame you, but he also has, like, a pretty... how this works, right? So you can do, like, a bunch of hits, and it's not going to combo afterwards if they don't pop him up. So something like this would knock him back, because normally it does knock back. So you can do this. I have no idea how that just happened. You know, that's strange, but whatever. You can do that, and they're going to pop back like that. However, normally, and then you can do something like a forward 3. Have a little pop-up. You have a little pop-up for you. But that's kind of how, like, his move steal works. And it also works, like, if you do, like, a 1-2 to an uppercut, it's gonna do that. Or if you do an uppercut into 1-2, the uppercut's not gonna take effect because it wasn't the last hit that happened. How it works is the very last hit that happens is how he's gonna react next once he gets unfrozen, if that makes sense. So if you do something like forward 4 to forward 4-1, he pops up. If you do something like forward 4 into forward 4, or if you do something like forward 4-1 to forward 4, he's not gonna pop up because the last hit wasn't that pop-up move. For Omni Man, forward 3 PeaceMaker, forward 3 stance 1. So that is going to be like your main way to do it, and because this actually is a standing 3, you can actually just do like your normal standing 3 combo at this point. Like this normal standing 3 combo, you can do that pretty much at the end of this. And you can just go ahead and get yourself a 50% combo off of a 1-2. It's just that cool. It's just that cool. Now, the same thing applies for in the corner. So if you do like a 4-3 in the corner, you can actually also get a corner combo in the corner with Geras. So if you do like 1-2 time stop, it actually is kind of hard to land. But let me try it one more time. I did standing 2 because frankly I don't know if I was going to land that standing 3. You just kind of have to have that quick thinking in an actual game. And you got yourself 515 damage for that. God damn, that is a lot of damage. Well, you can get like the standing 3 into it as well, get yourself a little more damage. I did standing 2 because I felt like it was probably going to drop. So I just did standing 2 just in case. Other than that, he also steals this move, which if you actually do it the close version, it hits, but the cool thing about this one is, I don't really do this because it doesn't do as much as a time stop move steal, but if you want to go for it, you can do Mac cameo into this, and it'll actually, most of the time, it'll actually combo if you do the normal one, not the close one. So if you do back cameo, 1-2 back cameo, you can actually get a combo off of that. Granted, that's if you only have half of it, which if you only charged up half, I mean, you can go for that. It is pretty cool. But I'd say, you know, the time stop, definitely more worth it. It's just an obscene amount of damage. I just want to show it up one more time. Alright, but that's pretty much going to do it for Geras. Let's move on to the final move steal person, which is by far the best. Alright, we're here with Takeda. And what makes Takeda such a good move steal? Well, you look at his back cameo, it's pretty much just a basic, it's an overhead, it's a basic just combo starter, you know, you can just get a normal combo from this. Damage scaling isn't that bad on it, it's actually kind of decent. However, that is not what you want to use. You want to use his down forward, which is that move. Which you can actually aim this, you can do down forward far, down forward mid, down forward close, which is the one we're going to be using the most. And what you don't want to do is hold down, because if you hold down, right, it'll actually become one of, like, the smart shurikens instead of, like, the explodey ones. But you want the explodey ones. And in order to do that, all you gotta do is cameo move this one. This is the one you want. So down forward, hold back. Do not hold down, or else you'll get the... Or, yeah, do not hold down on it, or else you'll actually get the smart shuriken instead. Like that. You just want to hold back. As soon as you hold down forward, and then you get one of those. And that's because you can get a restand with it. And the cool thing about it is you can do it twice. You can actually do it twice. In the corner, you can do it pretty easily, especially with a 1-2. You can't actually do it with a 1-2 mid-screen. It pushes them too far away. However, a standing 2-2 gives you just enough time to get a forward dash and another 2-2. It is pretty tough to time, so you might want to practice this a little bit. But you can do that mid-screen. This is an insane combo to do mid-screen. Because look how much damage I've already done. I have done 60% damage with that mid-screen. That is not okay. In the corner, it's even easier to land because you can get it with a 1-2. Pretty much any touch, you can get it. And the reason you do 2-2 instead of standing 3 is because Shujinko like hasn't recovered yet, and using 2 buttons is longer, so that you can actually like land it. You can. I found that you can actually do standing 3 into it. You just have to, yeah, you have to wait like until the very end of the recovery frame to actually do it. Sometimes it'll cause a drop, but the damage does do a lot. So you can do like 3 standing 3s. It does take a little bit of timing practice to do that, but that is a very possible combo. And the damage is crazy. Now the thing is, what actually makes this really, really good is on block, he has to deal with this mid. And he has to deal with this mid overhead a lot. So if you make him scared of that overhead, you can do that instead. And on hit, like if I set him to only block high, so he's gonna be blocking high. You do this overhead a lot, you'll block it. But if you do this, you just get a full combo at that point. And then off of just that low, you just got 58%. So it's crazy that this also does work mid-screen. Of course, that standing 2 is a little hard to land. You're gonna have to do a quick forward dash. But I mean, look at that. You can get that mid-screen if they don't block that. And that's what makes this so unbelievably strong. Like, just stealing from Takeda in general is already incredible. Like, this already, who cares about that? No one cares about that. You want this. That move is unbelievably strong. On block 2, I will say, if they do get hit by the mid, then it will push them far enough away to where you can't actually hit them. But if they're in the corner and they get hit by the mid and that lands, then it doesn't matter because you're in the corner. You can land whatever hit you want after that. And then if you also charge Shujinko, like, during the combo as well, like, if you charge him right now, then by the time the bounce is ready, he's already pretty much fully charged. And you're ready to go. Like, you can do it all over again. Let me really quickly show off how I charge Shujinko after a combo like this. So if he's like, I'll charge him right now, and then by the time I hit the bounce, I actually uncharge him. And then I hit this, do my input, and then he's charged again. And that's kind of how I charge Shujinko at like any combo. You'll see me do that all the time. So if you want to practice that, like as soon as this animation goes off, he's charging, and then as soon as you hit the bounce, uncharge him, forward 3, crumple stun. I do the input really fast. Like the last hit, I do the input like super fast, and then I charge Shujinko. So by the end of the animation, he's already fully charged. In case you were wondering how I charge Shujinko at the end of every combo. Just a quick little tip for you guys there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Takeda, and that's I think that's gonna do it for Shujinko in total. This was incredibly fun for Shujinko. Like for most other characters I did go over, it's probably because there was nothing too unique about it. Like they probably just have like basic projectiles or like charge moves with down forward and then a normal pop up or restand. I didn't want to go over every character because then that would be too long of a video, but you get it. Mostly you're going to come across either restand or bounce up, and it's pretty much just going to be the same combo depending on which one of those two it's going to be. So that is actually going to do it for this full in-depth guide to Omni-Man. I hope you all enjoyed watching. I had a ton of fun making it. And I hope y'all learned at least something new when it came to all the crazy stuff we can do with Shujinko. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed, learned something new. Go out there, conquer with Shujinko. Because frankly, I want to see more Shujinko players. I know this was an Omni-Man video, but I'm promoting Shujinko. I love Shujinko. Use him with every character you play. He's amazing. I love him. Honestly, Shujinko makes this game more interesting. So, hope you all enjoyed. Go forth and conquer. And do great things. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.